of like memes in my head. I'm always like, oh wow, I'm just kind of standing. Here we go. Okay. If she stops having, a walking fit.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, I try to send memes, like, because I'm like, oh, I know you have a lot of cons and stuff. So
it
I'm
makes me really
like,
happy. And you can introduce some good artists.
Yeah, I drew those little mushrooms. I thought that was like that I really liked. I sent those to you, I think, like the other day.
Yes, and I like those a lot. And it's funny, actually. I do mushroom studies every once in a while, and I've actually found on Reddit, if you just go into niche groups and you're like, "Hey, I drew this. What else should I draw?" Because like you learn so much from people obsessed with whatever that niche is. So like for mushrooms, there were things I'd never even heard of, and I was like, "This is awesome! I didn't even know you could draw this."
Yeah, cause like I work, cause I'm working with Ryan, who he's off doing writing stuff currently. He I found through him that there's this thing called a bleeding mushroom, which looks terrifying. It looks gross. It's horrible to look at, but I'm like, wouldn't that be like so fun to like draw or like create? And
You'll just show me a picture. I've never heard of that. I know the inky cat, but I don't know the bleeding heart. Like,
so
that sounds,
it is like if it's one of those things where like if anyone has like it's got a bunch of holes. So if you have that one phobia I can never pronounce, probably don't look at it.
Not trypophobia. No.
Yeah. Cause it's got a bit of holes. So that's bit of an I thought I was hitting the stone. I'm not. Okay. It's got a bit of holes, and it's because it's got the holes. A lot of people don't like to see it. Which is
understood.
Yeah.
Fear. I mean, I totally believe that it's a real thing and that you can have that fear. It's just fascinating to me that that is a specific thing that makes people uncomfortable and or frightened.
For me, like, I don't know, like, I don't necessarily, like, I feel like, some things are just, like, born out of maybe, like, you saw it in, like, a horror movie or something, and then it, like, kind of developed from there from, like, in terms of, like, phobias that people acquire, because, like, it's so funny, because, like, I'm not, like, super afraid of heights, but I used to go to malls and be like, at this distance, I could break a leg. Maybe. And then
fear. That's like, trypophobia is not, well, trypophobia might be an irrational fear because I don't, I can't imagine in nature being like a lot of holes really scare me. I guess it's like you want to stay away from like either diseases or I'm just trying to think. I'm very, very curious about the origins of that, if there are any. Because like heights make sense, and especially a certain height, because then you're like, okay, if I fall from this height, I will die.
I used to, because my mom's scared of heights, like really scared. And it would annoy her because I'd be like, hey, so like at this short distance, I may sprain an ankle. And she was like, okay. Good, thank you for that. And I'm like, well, at this distance, I could possibly, break a leg. And she's like, all right, thank you. Thank you for
Measuring
that.
it in bodily injury. Yeah.
Because I was like, it was a thing that I was like, to rationally do the distance. Because I kind of got it from her in terms of, like, height and claustrophobia. Like, it became, like, a learned thing instead of something I had originally. So, in order to
do we want to clear out all of this area, or do we want to go over to the house? Well, I was just kind of running around, but do we want to, like, clear out specific spots all around us, or what's our plan for the farm?
So, what I like to do in Stardew Valley is, I like to, like, get as much of, like, stuff cleared as possible before, like, farming. At least a decent amount to where, because you can sell, like, the sap and the seeds for money.
That's true.
So I like to sit there and get like all the, because eventually we're gonna need the what are they called? Fiber for like making the scarecrow or something. And you can always get that. You can always get the fiber from like near Marnie's ranch. So I sell those too. Because I'm like, I can just get 20 things of fiber like anywhere else. It's not that hard.
I like it.
But yeah, that's usually if my character can stop like having an aneurysm trying to walk everywhere. There she goes. Okay.
Is it just because of the lagging right now?
Yeah, it has to do with that. And then there's, for some reason on my computer, when I play Stardew Valley, my character will glitch and, like, not stop running or walking a certain thing, and I have to, like, basically become James Bond on my keyboard, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's a weird problem. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's fine. But, I mean, I think it just to do with, like, my computer's got to update or something. I'm trying to get some foraging stuff so I can get back my energy because my energy is very low.
I should eat some things. Or can I eat anything here? Oh, there's a very pretty butterfly.
I don't think we can eat butterflies yet.
Unfortunately. Wait, you can. Wait, hold on. Can you actually eat the butterflies?
No, not unless there's a mod probably for it.
Survivor mode?
Yeah, it's Survivor mode. I want to download, like, those cute little mods for Stardew Valley, but I'm so afraid of downloading something and it, like, fucking up my computer.
That's fair.
Because, like, the last time I downloaded stuff when I was younger, my whole computer, like, crashed, and it was because of viruses. And I was, like, I was super young at this time, so I was like, oh, God. So, like, I hear, like, you know, mods for Stardew and for Sims, and I want to download them, but then I'm like, but am I gonna get, like, scammed?
Safer sites and reputable sites. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know Nexus, the thing is I have Nexus mods, which is for, like, some of the mods that people use. I just don't know how to do it, because they're like, download this if it's this one, and here's this update, and oh, there's this. And I downloaded Wicked Whims for Sims, and it's like, here's the instruction video, and I'm like, this is not helpful. No. This was
I just want it to be downloaded.
I just want to like, do I put it in my Sims file? And it's like, oh, you have to, and I was like, no, this is terrible. This is the worst advice. I do not like this.
You don't actually get Wicked Wins, you get, like, some off-brand, like, Disaster Wins or Disaster Breeze. You're like, this isn't Wicked Wins. I am low on energy at this point. Did you sell stuff or did you go to bed? I don't know where you are.
I went to go forge things, and then my sim had a glitch, or not my sim, my person had a glitch. So now I'm just gonna, I'm by, Robin's house.
Okay, I'm coming.
You can hear her, you can hear the terrifying steps of I'm not even touching my computer, and she's just walking.
Let me try and get, oh no, I can't even see it, so.
It's so dark. It's so dark.
Maybe if I go to bed, or, like, you'll have to, if you can't get out of there, it'll have to be when you pass out.
Yeah, it's just gonna be when I pass out, because she's, like, glitching all over the place. It's fine. But yeah, when I was younger, for heights and stuff, I used to just psych myself out. It annoyed my mother, but I was like, this is how I'm gonna stop. It was like weird exposure therapy.
Methods, and that is certainly one to, like, rationalize it. That's what, like, I call my irrational fear of, like, spiders. Definitely irrational, but in order to handle my fear of that, I learned as much as I could. So now I know, like, a ton about spiders.
Well, I also, it helped for me to actually, like, you know, and because, you know, you're kind of, it's like, oh my god, a spider! Like, ah! And then it's like, well, if you learn about all the different types of spiders, it gets, like I made Ryan watch a video of a funny, like, BBC America thing of a jumping spider. And her name was Portia. And it was so funny. Because,
Yeah,
like, it was just, like, this BBC America thing. And I was like, you know... Cause he was like, spiders are in our garden, we have to get the spiders out. And I'm like, no, they help. And I'm gonna show you why. I mean, it's a jumping spider, but, you know...
Oh, I actually regained, even though you didn't go to bed, I went to bed and I started regaining energy just from being in the bed. That's
Okay.
cool.
Let me go back up and see if I can. I'm probably gonna pass out, but she stopped glitching.
Oh, good.
So let me see if I can
Well,
get.
I'm able to work a little bit longer. No, I can't. I think the only spider I like is like I understand jumping spiders. I get them. You know, we understand each other. I know how they work. But the tunnel spiders or like the orb weaving or even the Jora spiders, that's like in I don't know if you've heard this story, but in Georgia now all of southern Georgia is getting like the invasion of the Jora spider, which is like from China.
Oh yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, they're huge. They're communal, and I came back like to my hometown during the fall, like last year. They were everywhere. It was like straight out of a horror movie. It was like, you know what? I'm glad I don't live in my hometown anymore. This is not my home anymore. This is the spider's home.
This is the spider's home. We had a weird thing with cicadas like a while back. I remember when I first came to Virginia, I was like, what the fuck are these? And then my mom was like, those are cicadas. I was like, I've never in my life, like, because I had been in Arizona for a while, so I was like, what is this? I don't like what goes on in forest areas. But the one thing that helped me with jumping spiders is the fact that they're not poison, like, their venom, like, they don't want us. So I was like, yeah, so I was like, we have a mutual understanding because I don't want you and you don't want me, and so therefore you will not try to get me.
They don't hunt for food, they don't make a nest anywhere, like, you know, that makes sense. But the ones who are like, I'm gonna go hide and I'm gonna like scurry around, I'm like, no thanks, you can leave.
Yeah, I think in Virginia, we have like this brown spider. I don't think it's like the poisonous one, but it's a brown spider of some sort. And I saw it I don't know. I don't think it's that. I think it's brown in color, but I don't know if it's like, I don't think it's the recluse. But I had to kill one in my room the other night because it was hiding under, it was hiding under a bunch of notebooks I just got.
Oh no.
And I moved, and I couldn't see it, because my notebooks are dark in color. So I'm like, I don't see it. And I saw it, and we just looked at each other. And then I went, and I got on my bed, and I just, like, watched. And I threw one of my rainbow Crocs at it.
Nope, that's nightmare fuel. That's exactly why I don't want to live in a place like that, or just anywhere with spiders. I'm like, no, thank you. I will say, I'm gonna be that person. It's venomous, not poisonous.
Venomous? Okay.
I see it. Yeah, because like, so how I remember it is like, venom is injected into you.
That's
poison
right.
is you licking it.
That's right.
Yeah, because like frogs can be poisonous if you eat them, or toads. But anything that has to inject into the bloodstream, so like spiders or snakes, or scorpions, venomous. Or yes, that's injecting. But I'll see that like even in articles, like people will be like, no, like either a lot about spiders or it'll be like intellectual, not magazines, but I just see that mistake a lot all over the place, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, sometimes I'll say something and I mean something else. So I was like, yeah, no. No, because I know
things. That's the thing. That was the thing that's easiest because you're like, it means death either way.
Yeah, and one has what is it, like anti-venom or something.
Yeah, I think, well, if you poison, like, you pump your stomach, you make sure it can get out of your stomach as quickly as possible, because that's how it's injecting in. But if it's venomous, yes, you have to have an anti-venom because it does different things. Like, some of them start messing with the blood vessels themselves. Some of them start causing rot. So you have to have different medications depending on what's happening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know once where someone because scorpions are really big in Arizona, when my godmother got bitten by a or she got, by a scorpion, and he
Yeah.
was like, if you ever get bitten by a scorpion, she got bitten by a baby one. So he was like, that's actually more dangerous
Oh yeah, because they
than,
have
because they can't control it.
regulated. Yeah. Oh, seeds.
Yeah, those are the parsnips. But yeah, he was
Yeah.
like, he was like, no, it's more deadly that you got that. I mean, thankfully, she didn't, nothing happened because it was in her pinky toe. But he was like, yeah, he's like, don't go, searching for scorpions. But like, if you happen to get bit, adult ones control their dose, whereas like the others, like, they're like, they can't control it because they're like, oh, look, it's someone's attacking me.
Question is then, do scorpions? I know probably snakes make their own venom, but do scorpions make their own venom, or do they only have a certain amount, and then after that they're done?
I think they make it in their like thorax part of their
That's
body.
cool.
I would have to actually do research. All I know is that with baby snakes and with baby scorpions, it's worse than getting the adults because of the concentration of the
Yeah.
dosage.
I thought I saw something saying that was recently like debunked,
It may
but I
have
don't.
been.
But I don't know because that the knowledge still permeates around. Like I hear everyone saying that. So like it could have just been someone on the internet asking for clout, being like, "Oh, like I'll get a lot of points if I just write an article saying like, that's false." So who knows? It's hard enough nowadays to see what's true on the internet.
Because I know right now in Virginia we have I think it's like garden snakes or something. We have some sort of snake thing that's going to be an issue. Which is not, I mean, it's not great because a lot of where I live in Virginia, we got some like we have we got some, little walking trails that are by lakes and little marshes that we try. Oh, actually, wait, I didn't mean to go to sleep. I just wanted energy back. We got little marshes and stuff like that, and those are where like water snakes kind of like to go on the top and the surface. And so people have to start like actually, maintaining their backyard and being careful when they go on like little trails.
Goodness.
Because people have been finding, because we have a little Facebook group where it's hiking trails like for my area, and they're like, oh hey, just watch out because there's these like little snakes that are here and they match, the dirt and stuff, and so you don't
God, no.
want to.
Oh, I have a snake story for you. I have not I don't interact with snakes very often, but I actually do have a so I live in this apartment complex where we're on the second floor,
Yeah.
and there were baby birds between the first and the second floor. So they were in the stairs, which is super cute. They were wrens, they were peeping, they were getting ready, and it was adorable. And they're like right outside of my studio window. So when I work, I could like check on them, be like, look, they're peeping. And then one day they were like really peeping, and I went outside and they were all over the nest. Like their mom was teaching them to like leave the nest that day. So my boyfriend and I decided like, okay, we're not going to go out the regular door. We're going to go out the back door so then we don't mess with the birds. And we took a back way to go to our car. And along the
Yeah.
way, my boyfriend was like, "Hey, is that a snake up there?" And I was like, "No, it's a stick." And he's like, "Oh, really? You saw it?" And I looked closer and I was like, "No, that's a snake. All right, that's a big snake." Because it was blocking our back way as well. So we had to go even farther around. And so when we came back from dinner, we're like, "Oh, I wonder what that snake is doing." It was in front of our door. It had moved upstairs. The birds had left at that point, so it didn't get a meal. Which I was kind of torn about. I was like, I do want the baby birds to survive, but I understand the snake needs to eat too.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I live in because I live with my mom right now until I save, and my room is like right because it's in the basement, but it's right beside the yard, and so spiders can come in, and my mom's like, so they go on my windowsill, and I don't touch my windowsill. And my mom's like, Diana, you need to kill these spiders. I'm like, they take care of my flies. Right now, we have a symbiotic relationship. Or, what is it?
It's symbiotic.
Yeah, symbiotic. Yeah, I'm like, we have a symbiotic. They don't go past the windowsill, and I don't gotta deal about flies. So,
hey, as long as spiders are working for me in my house, I'll be like, I'll leave you.
Yeah, I'm like,
you can.
Yeah, so my mom's like, you gotta, like, do something about them. And I'm like, but they're taking care of because, my grandparent, she has dogs. And so sometimes the door gets left open. And so flies come in. And so I'm like, right now, Tom the spider is okay. The minute he stops being okay is when his life will end. But until then, he's fine.
Yeah.
You're
basically using him as a farm. Yeah, it's a farm animal kind of relationship. Like,
yeah.
He has his use.
He has his use. I mean, I won't turn him into spider meat, but we're handy dandy. To which, I found out because I was playing Magic the Gathering with my boyfriend and at this local game store, and someone was like, someone was like, hey, so why don't you, because they were talking about hippopotamuses, and they're like, why don't you look up at what a hippo skull looks like? And I'm like, okay. Because he was like, it looks weird. He was like, it looks alien. It doesn't look real. And I'm like, okay, I'm curious because I've never seen a hippo skull. I've seen every other, mostly every other skull in the animal kingdom. So I was like, you know what? Let me look at it. And when you search on Google, how there's questions under it.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the question, what does hippo meat taste like? And I go, I didn't ask that. That was not what I wanted to know. But I guess I'm gonna see what it is. And
did you click on it?
I clicked on it, because my curiosity, I've not learned my lesson at all. In terms of clicking things when they mildly intrigue me. And apparently it's gamey. It's supposed to be, apparently, yeah, so apparently it's gamey, but it's better than cow meat. Which is very interesting that someone made that comparison.
I mean, I don't think shape affects, like, the taste at all, but they do have a kind of cow. Like, if a cow was very aggressive, it would be that.
And they kill, like, 300 to 700 people, like, a year. So they're very...
dangerous?
Yes! Okay, so it was one of the things where someone was like, I'm tired of shark being evil propaganda. And they're like, actually, compared to hippos, sharks only kill 5 to 9 people, like, per year.
They get a bad rap.
And hippos kill 300 to 700 per year.
That many?
Yes.
I knew it was a lot. I didn't know it was that much.
And they're like the bullies of the wild because even crocodiles don't like them.
Yeah, no one messes with them. I know that.
Like, crocodiles are like, I'm going to just sit here. Because
they're also too big. Like even a hippo baby is like ginormous. Like I can't like imagine like a croc trying to flip over a hippo baby.
Yeah, and so they have a really like strong PSI bite, which is like another thing that makes them like not great in terms of like going into the wild. Like at the zoo, they're it's fine, but wild wise, you don't want to go off to them. But they apparently their meat is better than cows, so I guess that's, I mean, if you want to die trying to get some, I guess, it's your funeral, but
it's more expensive buffalo.
I think so, yeah. But and then the question underneath of it is what color is hippo pee? And I
had some lots of questions.
I was like, okay, I already figured out what hippo meat would taste like. I might as well, figure this one out. Apparently they sweat, and something in the sweat is a red color, which makes it pink.
That's horrifying.
So there's that. Also, they can't swim. I know there's lots of pictures and like documentaries of them in the water, but they actually can't swim. So what they do is they take like a huge breath and then just sink down and fall asleep. And then just like
walking on them then? Like they're just like
They just take this huge deep breath before they go under, and then they'll sink down and walk, and they can fall asleep. But they cannot actually swim.
Yeah, I guess, that is wrecking a lot of things that I imagined for like my childhood for how I imagined a hippo to be. There's like a lot of hippo propaganda about them being sweet and nice and driving people across the river or anything like that, and this is just heartbreaking.
I'm sorry to break childhood dreams, but that's how I felt when people told me about otters. Because I'm like,
oh, don't ruin it for me about otters. What have they told you about otters?
So male otters are, I don't think I can say it on Twitch. They SA their partners.
Oh no!
They will get a female otter and they'll sink their like thumbs, like the thumbnail part, like in the eyes, and like hold them in place, and they don't care if you're dead or alive.
This is very much like dolphins, unfortunately.
Yeah, dolphins were ruined for me too, but then I was like, it makes sense. They're short. They make, I guess they do that to make up for it. I don't know. But that's what, so like the actual ones, the otters that you actually are like, the good otters are the ones that look like demons, which is the river otters. Because they look horrifying, but apparently they don't like, they aren't necrophiliacs, and they don't just randomly sink their fingers into their mate's eyes.
A basic necessity, yeah.
Yeah, they also don't go after, like, the children, so there's that. Which,
the kindness of the natural world.
Yeah, it's so interesting, because, like, you'll tell somebody, like, hey, I got some facts about otters, and they're like, I don't care that they do this. I'm so loving them. I'm like, okay, that's great. I can't.
You just have to ignore. I mean, my still favorite animal is the orcas. Like I've loved them since I was a kid, and they're huge jerks.
Oh yeah,
in the natural world.
I like I don't know if they're dicks, but I like tigers. Tigers are my favorite.
Well, tigers are just alphas of the. Well, not alphas, but they are pretty strong as a predator. So they're just being who they are.
Well, and they can swim, and they don't purr. It's
No.
called chuffing. And it's like this little
Right.
growl sound, and it's so funny. And when they're happy, they like do this little like close their eyes thing. And so that makes me happy.
Yes, there's a lot of facts about tigers. I've been drawing a lot more tigers, but they're kind of like a comfort animal for me. So like I learn a lot about them when I'm drawing them.
Yeah, and I told my boyfriend, I was like, there's like strawberry tigers, and he's like, what? I'm like, strawberry tigers.
Yeah.
And he's like, they look like, I'm like, no, they don't actually look like strawberries. It's a fur coloration.
Oh my gosh. Is it kind of like, it's not albino, it's like they kind of...
I can send you a picture like after we're done. But basically, so the different you have the Bengal tiger, which is like the norm.
Yes.
Like we all know what a Bengal tiger looks like. Then you have a albino tiger. You have a slight variation of the Bengal tiger, but it still very much looks like a Bengal tiger in terms of like the fur variation. And then you have a strawberry tiger. And it's a bit more like it's like almost as if they like dyed their hair crimson.
Oh, that's so... Oh my gosh.
It's like a red-headed tiger.
That's so freaking cool. I had no idea.
The common, they have an actual name, but the common nickname is just like strawberry tiger. Just because of like the color fur variation.
Now I do need to see pictures because I might actually draw this later.
Yeah, I've loved tigers for a long time, so like as soon as I was like, I just kind of fully went in and I was like, oh my god, there's a strawberry tiger. And every chance I get to talk about the strawberry tiger, because no one believes me, I'm like, no, they actually exist. And then they're like, oh my god. I'm like, yeah, it's like finding a unicorn. It's great.
I thought you were talking about ligers at first, because I know that ligers have that light coloration to them. So that's what I thought you were talking about at first.
No, and ligers are so... I mean, they're not naturally occurring, which is, you know, kind of sad when a liger gets born. But I like how they're like kind of big, dumb, like they look like himbo modern saber-tooth tigers.
They do. They're like a slightly more domesticated saber-tooths.
Yeah, and that's the kind of like thing I get when I think of them, because like I'm sad because, you know, your existence is basically like a pug. And you should not, like, you are a weird aberration in nature, but also you look like a saber-toothed tiger, and since I was not even remotely thought of genetically when they were existing, I get to see something like it.
Right. And it's big! Like, I just did, like, just simply, like, my brain just goes like, big cat.
Yeah, and so I always, I don't know if you've seen the thread of the Oklahoma Wildlife Department and telling people to not hug coyotes, or not coyotes, cougars and stuff. But it's really funny because people are like, why friend-shaped if not friend? And then the wildlife department is like, please don't. Like, this is not a good idea.
They should just send people the video of that hiker who was, he was a trail runner, and he's got between a mom mountain lion and her baby, and she chased him. Like, he literally had to like run backwards for like, I don't even know if it was a mile or two or something like that, filming the entire time and she would like kind of jump at him, or she was like really aggressive, and he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna die or not right now.
Probably. Oh, so sorry, I'm gonna go back to our conversation. So I am making a chest by the mailbox. So if you want to put like wood, anything you've collected in there, I'm gonna make a couple. But it's burgundy.
Okay, good, because I was just in the woods, right? I didn't tell you where I was. I cleared out the path. Like, I always like, one of the first things I do is like clear a direct path to the woods, because it's always annoying when you try to get down there and it's not like clear. So I made it like a lot more clear to get down to there.
Okay, yeah. But this is the first one I made. That one, cause when I do Stardew Valley, I get so organized, and my boyfriend's like, I just want to go into the mines. And I'm like, okay, I'll take care of this. But this is the chest. I don't know. Hold on, my person's kind of, no, stop glitching.
Okay, I'm guessing it's burgundy chest over here.
Yeah, so
Right.
I like to make chests where it's, one chest is for, like, geodes, iron ore, copper ore, all the ores, all the stuff I need to, like, go to Robin and craft and, like, make things.
Yeah.
I put in one little, chest box, and then I make another for, like, bundles, and another one for fishing. Just so that
makes sense.
yeah, and it, like, so, and I color code them, and Ryan doesn't care. He just wants to fight slime monsters. But I'm like, these are the color variations if you're ever confused. I'm probably gonna go buy some meals so that I can continue. Well, I'm glitching. But there we go. No, I'm not. Okay.
Dang it.
It's
I
fine.
got you. I'll support you. I can push you.
No, I'm doing it. Here we go. I got it. Usually I don't start building a chicken coop or like a cow thing till like year 2 or 3 because I'm so busy trying to get money and all of the stuff I need that like it takes me a minute to actually do like the very thing that like this game wants me. Okay, no, go back up.
Maybe 2 people.
Oh god.
You got it. You had it at an angle.
It's fine. It's okay. You can go buy stuff if you want. But I usually
I'm gonna go collect stuff at the beach. I know there's good stuff down there.
Oh yes, and we have, I think for the beach it needs 300 wood. So I don't know if we've collected 300 things of wood, but we can go and get that squared away so that we can reach like the coral reef things and and get that bundle started. I'm terrible at fishing. I don't know if you are, but I need to get a mod so that I can fish better. But the thing is I also don't trust mods, so, I'm kind of in a pickle.
Well, I think I'm decent at fishing. Like, I'm not enough where I'm like, I need gold stars on everything, but... I need
to figure out how to do the fishing. I'm terrible.
Oh, a book. I found a lost book.
Ooh, so now our library's getting better.
Yay! I always like it when I find this.
Yeah, it's so interesting when I add to the museum and he gives me anything other than like a keg or seeds, because I let it pile up, and then it's like, and so then I go to donate something new, and it's like, oh, you have a futon bear, you have a painting, and I'm like, so I just like leave it. Like, I'll have to show you sometime one of my other like farming things, but I'll just like leave the statues just randomly throughout Stardew Valley. Like, I got a chicken statue on my Switch, because I made a new file, and he gave me a chicken statue as a reward, and I left it right beside like one of the shops in the square, because I was like, I don't want this.
I never want this to see the light of day on my farm.
Yeah, this will never happen on my farm. And I've glitched to the beach. I gotta figure out. Yeah, I'm at the beach. So my first run in Stardew Valley, I romanced Elliot.
Is Elliot the puppet?
He is the writer, yes. He's the one who looks like Fabio.
I romanced him too because honestly he had long hair and he was romantic, and I was like, you know what? This is who I'm living my fantasy and I love him. There's some other characters I like too, and there's some female characters that I was like, yeah, I like these ladies as well, but I was like, I'm gonna go with the writer first because I identify with them on it.
Yes. I did him. I'm trying to do Shane now. Because I didn't like him at first because every time I talked to him, he was rude as hell, and I was like, I will never give you the time of day, sir. But actually, when you start like feeding him, he gets so much better. He's like, oh wow, thank you for this pizza. I'm like, oh good, because this is one of the few gifts I know you like. So be prepared to get a lot of pizza.
Honestly, if someone only ever gave me pizza, I'd be okay with that too.
Well, because like a lot of he hates a lot of foraged items because I looked at how to romance him, like what he actually likes. And I did that with Elliot too. And he likes pizza, pepper poppers as a dish. He likes eggs, so you can give him eggs and he's fine with it. But he hates anything that you forage. He doesn't like any like mining stuff. He doesn't like any other dish besides beer, pizza, and pepper poppers.
So identical to very many people.
Yes. So, and I think he likes, once you get a movie theater, he has like certain things that he likes at the movie theater. Of course, I've never gone further than completing all but the fish room in all of my saved files, so I don't know what the movie theater is. But I know it's a thing now. I'm just terrible at fishing, so I always wait for that market lady by Marnie's Ranch to always like have fish. I'm like, yay, I got a fish for a bundle. And it's slow. It's a slow process. But
with cutting out like a fifth of the game mechanics of like, no, I'm just never gonna fish. It takes a long.
Well, it's not that I don't. It's just I'm bad at it, and like I'll get the thing, like I'll be so close to getting the fish, and then I don't get it in like the little bracket thing, and it just doesn't work out. So what I do is I'll buy fish, even if I don't need it for a bundle, and I'll sell it so I can get my fishing level up.
I see, that makes sense.
So I'll buy like a bunch of fish I think I need, and then it turns out I need like 2 out of the 5 I bought. And I'd be like, okay, I'll just sell the rest if I don't need them for quests, and then I will, put the others in the bundle, and I'll sell these, and so that like, and selling I think the coral reefs and stuff also help. Yes, so there's ways I know to get it. It's slow acting because like I'm terrible at the fishing, especially, and there's not a mod for it on the Switch, so
yeah, computer might be different, but yeah, no, the Switch is not. I don't know if the Switch is very mod friendly or not.
I don't know. I'm also afraid to find out. But I recently got the Little Nightmares collection.
Nice.
on my Switch. And it was, so the bundle I think was like $29 something, and it was like almost 80% off, so I got it for like $5.99 I think.
Did you get that because of the Steam sale that's happening right now?
Yeah, I also saw I wanted to get some there's also this game called The Cult of Lambs.
Yes, I'm so excited about that game. I want it so bad.
I did the demo, and I streamed the demo and everything, and it was very pretty. It was a very pretty game. I liked the art and everything like that, and I'm like, oh, this comes in August, and I was like super excited. I'm also really
the Steam sale by that much. I was really excited about like, can I get it for like, does it just release and Steam sales happening? And I was like, no,
but it is a pre-order. I think it's, last time I checked, I think it was like either $19.99 or $24.
I think it's $25.
There you go. I was like, I know it's because like so many different ones. I'm also excited for Coral Island. I think that's coming in October, and Bear and Breakfast is coming out the 28th of this month.
I don't I don't recognize either of the last two though. Mostly Cold and Lamb has been the only one I've been focusing on. But tell me about the other two.
So, Bear and Breakfast, is basically, so you're this, think of like Yogi Bear.
Okay.
So you're this bear and you're in the forest and you kind of made a mess. And what happens is you get tasked with, cleaning up your mess and making this like bear and breakfast. Kind of like this, a punny, what is, BR, it's not BRB.
B&B.
B&B, there you go. I was, in my mind, my head is working overtime to find the and symbol. But so basically you have this B&B, you use it to fix up the park, fix all the damages, and it's really cute. I'll send it to you private, like I'll send you like the different trailers for the ones I'm talking about. But it's really cute and it's a really cute art style. The art style is I don't think the same people did it, but it's just as free flowy, sort of nice as the Cold of Lamb. So that's really cool. And then Coral, I think it's Coral Reef Island or Coral Island. It's basically,
I don't know that one either.
So it's basically Stardew Valley, but like totally beach. It's you can romance different people, you can like help, with the island, build the island.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, because I know the recent Animal Crossing was on an island.
Yeah.
So it's like and there's also, I know the guy who made Stardew Valley is currently developing another game right now.
Yeah, it's called Haunted Chocolatier, I believe.
Yes, that's right.
And he says that there's going to be a tie-in to Stardew Valley, so maybe like our character is.
I'm coming back. I was fishing some because I got a rod, but I realized I should go grab the wood so then we can get the beach open.
Yes, we need 300 pieces, I believe, if I remember correctly.
I think we have 400 because we went like buck wild, cutting all the trees down.
We did. So, yeah. But yeah, so it's basically like, it's a really cool romance game. And then one of my favorites, it's not entirely ready yet, development wise, because it's still being added on. It's called Paralives.
Paralives.
So Paralives is, I mean, it's gonna absolutely blow Sims out of the water when it comes out, because it's so much better, from what I've seen development wise. But it's basically kind of like Sims, but if they actually listened to their audience.
That's high regards.
It's high regards. And well, I'm a part of their Discord, and each month they'll show development stuff for that month or what, previous months. And so it's really interesting to see it and watch it and be like, oh, I feel like a part of the process, but not really. And it looks better than Sims. I'll send you a couple of trailers for that as well.
Yeah, I'm curious. I haven't heard of any of these. I'm not very up to date on the game news because either I'm working or I just kind of keep my head down, because like it's very true of like as you grow up. Like I had plenty of times for games as a kid, and I could just like play as much as I want, and now I have to kind of pick and choose what I want to play.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't know all, like, I didn't even know there was a Sonic game coming out until one of, like, a mutual friend of, like, me and my boyfriend's was like, there's Sonic! And I was like, I thought there already was! What is this?
Yeah, everyone knows about Sonic, dude.
Well, because I have my niche of the ones I'm excited for, like Dragon Age 4, Little Witch in the Woods.
Don't even talk to me about Dragon Age. Yeah, Dragon Age. I played Inquisition. I think I spent 130 hours on one save file, and now I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, so I like Dragon Age, I like Assassin's Creed, Mortal Kombat. There's this recent one, this little thing called Little Witch in the Woods. It's very cute and adorable.
Yes,
I haven't
know that one.
Paralives, Bear and Breakfast. Like I know about like the niche or like, semi-popular Dragon Age, Mortal Kombat stuff. I don't know all gaming
Right.
news. The more that I know more about the industry than I would say like the actual gaming stuff, because I know like the whole drama with like with gaming developers and certain companies,
Sweet.
stuff like that. So I know like unless I see like someone talking about it or someone recommending it to me, or like I happen upon a Wholesome Games trailer, I don't know much, and so I can tell you like, oh yeah, no, like Activision has still not learned from their lawsuit, but I can't tell you what they're coming out with. So I'm like, here's the news. Have fun. It's not gaming news you wanted, but it's the gaming news I got. So
what we needed to hear.
It's what we need to hear.
I think we have similar tastes. Yeah. But it's funny because like the games that I like playing, so I love playing Stardew Valley. I love playing like single player games, but or not so much. Like I like some multiplayer game like collaborative, but I can't do horror stuff. But I love watching it. Like there are gamers that I'll watch who specifically only play horror stuff, and I just can't get enough of it.
I remember, so I'm very picky about watching horror games in the same way I am about horror movies. I hate stuff that are gratuitously like violent or like have to show so much blood, or unless it's satire like Ash versus Evil Dead. I'm not much for like the gore and violence, because that series, because it became a television series for like 3 seasons, that was satirical in nature and it was funny. But a lot of horror movies that that came out when I was younger were very much like, oh my god, so this woman's gonna have this like huge massive like bleeding spot in her abdomen and she's gonna run around and be dirty, and I was like, I would focus on the fact that she needs to brush her hair. Like, I wouldn't be scared. I'd be like, please brush your hair, for the love of God. I can't go in the movie myself. So
we'll have bad movie nights. We've watched Ash and the Evil Dead is not bad movie, but it is campy.
Mm-hmm.
But we've also watched like Troll 2, which is not Trolls 2. So Troll 2 is a terrible one. What else? There's some other bad movie that we watched, but I really enjoy. If you give me an opportunity, I love eviscerating a movie. I just love looking at it, and be like, why doesn't this make sense, or like, what's going on right here? I won't do that like in it.
I do that so much, especially with horror movies. Like, once I figure out that it's just another slasher thing, I'm like, okay, my mind's not going to take this seriously at all. But if it's something, there was this one movie that made me start to love psychological horror movies. And it was with Rebecca Hall, I think is the actress's name. And I can't remember what it's called, but I do know that it's kind of a period-ish piece, because I think she's going to be a governess or something. And they tour around this huge place, and she's also, either she's a governess or she's doing a piece on the house. But she's going through this house, learning all about it, and she sees this kid. And for like the majority of the movie, we're like, this kid's real. This kid's got, everyone seems to be interacting with him. And so, like, oh, this isn't a ghost because he's real. Like, this obviously is a real kid. You find out later on that he is actually her younger brother who died. And it starts to show where we thought it was real. She was just talking to empty air. And I was like, oh, I should have known. He looked weird. I was like, I should have known this. But this is so cool.
You should really watch Troll 2 then, because it's awful. I think so this family does a house exchange with another family, and I'm not going to say too much because you need to see it in its entirety. But basically, so they have this myth about goblins. They're like, "Oh, the goblins are going to get you." They go to a town called Nilbog, which is goblin backwards. It's not subtle. It's just bad.
I love bad horror movies, and I love psychological thrillers. I don't watch, I think I watched Halloween once. The newest one, I haven't... The other ones I sort of watched because in our youths, we did not have as many streaming services as we did today. You had to wait for Netflix to send you a DVD. But anyways...
You had to know someone who had the movie.
Yes. You either had to wait 3 days to a week for Netflix to be like, here's the DVD, because finally someone has returned the DVD for you to watch. They haven't kept it for years upon end. Or you went to Blockbuster, but I would see, Halloween on cable. On the different movies, Stars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Switching through the channels. So I know some of it, but I went to see, with, ex-coworkers, when I was working at this place this one time, and we saw the newest one that, the yogurt lady was in. She was older.
Wait, yeah, she was in that.
But she was older and stuff. And, I was like, how does anyone, and I mean this in, the most respectful way, how does anyone die from Michael Myers? This man is slow as hell.
Yeah, you see him coming from a mile away.
I hate running, and with running also is bad with my asthma, but even I could get, down a whole block if my life was on the line. I wouldn't just...
Yeah, sure.
I would not just walk as slow or run as slow as possible for this man. I was watching this movie, and I'm like, how does anyone think this dude is scary? He just walks and stares at you.
He does. Well, there's certain staring that can be, intimidating. But yes, overall, it's you can still get away.
Yeah, it's not like Jason or Freddy, where, they actively, know how to use their bodily functions. They actually know, when to run and walk and jump. Michael just, walks. And they're like, oh, well, maybe he's older, so he's not as fast. And I was sitting there going, this man has never run ever. If you watch the older ones, he walks just as slow. He has never ran a day in his life.
There's that trope, and then there's the trope of, don't go into the basement or don't go into the attic because you're not getting out either way there. Or, why, if you're running, why are you running in a straight line? So it's, things like that, where you're like, yeah, it's funny at this point because when they did it, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so I like going and, funny react and, being like, oh, this is just as, so recently, or not recently, but, recently in terms of, the year, I made my boyfriend watch the 50 Shades movies because he was... So I did it because he was like, I don't understand why, the BDSM community was upset about it. And I was like, if you watch the movie, you'll understand. But also, it's bad. And also, he's writing, I'm helping him write his book series. And I'm like, I need you to also watch this to show, what not to do as, a dude writing female characters. This is a prime example. I mean, a woman wrote these characters, but this is, prime example of, terrible writing and terrible characterization. And so I was like, this is just exhibit A of, what not to do.
Wasn't it also Twilight fan fiction? That's the source of...
Yep. it is Anastasia Steele is Bella Swan and Christian Grey is Edward. And
Right.
the one of the only non-white characters is a creep, and he's supposed to be Jacob. It made me very upset. They're like, here. What is his name in the 50 Shades? I think his name is like Jason or something. They casted him as like a Latino actor, and he is the only creep in the movie besides Christian Grey, but he's the one that's villainized. And I was like,
well, yeah, Christian Grey is creep, but like his actions are rewarded in the end. Even like honestly, I've only read the first book. I haven't read the series, but after reading the end of it, I was like, and there's more than this. They get back together. No, it ends on a good note where she leaves him. Like that's how I want to end it.
oh, you think it's good? You think it? But yeah, so we watched it, and he was like, and so I was making fun of it the whole time, and he's like, I don't understand how this whole premise goes. I was like, I don't understand it either. Because she simultaneously acts like she's 30, and she's supposed to be 22, 21.
Something young, something where it's like she's old enough to have like a lot of responsibilities and young enough.
I know. Give me. Yeah, it's so weird because like when it came out, like because I just turned 24, so I'm like in the age range of like what Anastasia should is around, and so I'm kind of like I would never let a grown man just randomly buy me a computer and like also have my email in there, because how do you know my email?
Right.
No, one second. It was so bad to just eviscerate it. Also, give me 1 second, Lois.
No worries. I'm just listening.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
No worries.
Alexander.